yo, you're so pretty, can I get your number? And she's like, I'm 16. And the guy's like, oh my God, you can't be 16. What? I gotta get out of here, chat.
That's crazy.
Back in my day, you'd already know they were 16 because we were all ugly.
But true! Just kidding, I'm kidding.
Hi, I'm Mari. Hope you're having a good day, and I hope this video makes today just a little bit better. Alright, so today we are going to be watching Casually Explain Gen Z versus Millennials, which is very interesting because I always feel like there's like a confusing line between like Millennials and then Gen Z, and then there's like this thing called Zillennials. So I'm curious to find out more information about this. Please educate me today.
When someone says they were born in the year 2002, I automatically think, damn, this is the oldest looking 6-year-old I've ever seen. Well, I won't be using that one when they ask me about the island. I was born in 1996, making me just barely a millennial, meaning I'm somewhat of an expert on my older cohort who thinks doggo, pupper, adulting, and having an actual wedding to a real person they love is still a thing, while also being able to tell Gen Z that making fun of us for skinny jeans doesn't do anything. We inherited housing prices and 3 financial crises from the baby boomers. You will not even remotely psychologically affect us. You will not even remotely psychologically affect most of us. The first thing we have to do is obviously define the generations, which in the textbook is 1981 to 1996 for millennials.
Wait, that's crazy. So like, even if you're like a 90s kid, you might not even be a millennial if you were born after 1990s. That's so fascinating.
Millennials, and 1997 to 2012 for Gen Z.
I just love, okay. I love the difference between, just the differences of like, the duality of generations. That's so funny.
Z. Problem is, it can be hard to tell when you're kinda in the middle, because to the outside observer, Gen Z might look a lot older than they are on account of all the Botox and filler, whereas millennials look a lot younger than they are on account of all the Botox and filler. Meaning you have to look at behavioral cues to tell the difference. Because us millennials are trying so hard to cling on to our youth, we're in fact only differentiable from Gen Z by 3 things: ankle socks, hairlines, and when a DJ says, put your hands up, we do it with an open palm, whereas Gen Z does it with a closed palm.
Really?
Gen Z does this because you automatically close your hand when you associate with dropping down to the floor, whereas millennials raise an open palm because we don't think Black Lives Matter.
What?
Well, it might sound like...
That's wild! What? Wait, what? Wait, can someone explain the context to me about that in the comments? What?
I'm here representing my fellow millennials. I did only squeak in there by 1 year, and there are some millennialisms that are too ancient even for me. Take for example answering the phone. Why? Similarly, Gen X still texts like they have an old school brick phone, meaning all of their messages are like, yo, bring drinks, see you at 5, sunglasses emoji. Which is at least chill and straight to the point.
That's
Millennials,
Gen Z?
in contrast, have all evolved the 2-thumb texting technique, meaning they're able to send you a single paragraph-long text like it's an email that you avoid opening at all costs until you really have to respond. Gen Z, on the other hand, sends multiple messages to indicate punctuation or a different thought, usually—
Wait, really? I'm gonna be so free with you guys. I thought this was just an ADHD thing. I do this. Okay.
ending it with a skull emoji to tell you they've died and will no longer be texting you back. If you're a smug elder millennial who's like, why does my younger sibling send 4 messages back to back when they could have just typed it in 1 message? That shit is so annoying. First of all, if you're annoyed because you have your phone on vibrate when I'm texting you, you can stick it up your ass. Second, if you've looked at literacy statistics recently, Gen Z doesn't know how to read, so they don't know how to punctuate in the first place. And lastly, multiple messages is clearly the superior form of texting, anyone except your boss, because it allows you to better punctuate your rap battles with the homies. If you think about it, line breaks are literally poetry. When it comes to socializing and how you like to have a good time, millennials and Gen X are notorious alcoholics, but Gen X also does cocaine and millennials instead do weed. Gen X are alcoholics on cocaine because it was the rock and roll culture of the time, whereas millennials are alcoholics and smoke weed because they all have anxiety and need to self-medicate in order to socialize.
That's crazy! You know, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like every time I see more millennials and stuff, like, even my sister will drink like a lot of wine and stuff to like socialize because she will say it relaxes her. That's fascinating. It makes you wonder why so many millennials have so much anxiety.
Gen Z, on the other hand, was very gently parented, don't even pretend they'll ever own a home, and never socialize publicly, so they just take Tren, Zins, and Goon for dopamine.
Are they watching Twitch stream and then they're watching the GOT VTuber thing? That's so funny.
One thing that Gen Z clearly outdid the millennials on is their slang, because just like high school, millennials also blundered the language on more than one occasion, coining such terrible turns of phrase as doggo, adulting, epic win, on fleek, it's lit fam, swag, I can't even, I did a thing, and calling any type of knowledge hacks. In contrast, Gen Z slang had a stranglehold on our broader vocabularies right away. For example, here's some Gen Z slang you hear all the time, which I will now translate in case it's not clocking to you. Let him cook. He's in the process of doing something well that isn't cooking, so don't interrupt him.
I love how this... It's a three-letter? Yes, a three-letter sentence, Mari. Yeah. It's a three-word sentence. Or, I don't think that's a sentence. It's 3 words, and then you have this whole paragraph of just translating on the other side.
She ate. She looked good or did something well that isn't eating. Riz. Charismatically flirting. Crash out. Mental breakdown. Shit slaps. It's really good. Fire. It's really good. It's different. It's really good. Bussin'. It's really good. Gas. It's really good.
It's really good.
No cap. For real. On God. For real. True. For real. Facts. For real. Deadass. For real.
Oh my god.
For real. For real.
For real?
One thing that older millennials have a terrible take on is that Gen Z has bad fashion. Gen Z has great fashion, especially compared to us millennials at the same age. Besides, when most millennials were teenagers, social media hadn't been invented yet, so instead of growing up trying to imitate the most liked Instagram trend, we had peace, contentment, and mixed and matched our clothing like a hand-me-down buffet exactly to our own taste. We didn't dress to impress, we dressed to express our deep cultural anxiety and fear of bothering our parents in case the baby boomers got mad at us, which they pretty much always were. You might not like it, but this was peak millennial fashion. To prove that Gen Z has better fashion than millennials, in today's social media, it's common for an influencer to be chatting up girls on the street like, yo, you're so pretty, can I get your number? And she's like, I'm 16. And the guy's like, oh my god, you can't be 16. What? I gotta get out of here, chat.
That's crazy.
Back in my day, you'd already know they were 16 because we were all ugly. Furthermore, Gen Alpha...
Back in my day, you would know they'd be 16 because we were all ugly is a wild thing to say, but true! Just kidding, I'm kidding.
But now thinks that point-and-shoot digital cameras give a cool vintage look, meaning guess what? Low-rise, bedazzled jeans are getting thrifted, and American Apparel hoodies are right around the corner. We are so back, baby. At the end of the day, ask most millennials, and we sort of feel we grew up in the best era to be kids, but the worst era to be adults. Gen Z, on the other hand, just thinks... Wait, things were actually good? As an example, when someone says make America great again, Gen Z thinks you can't make something great again if it was always trash. But baby boomers think, I remember when me and Steve worked for Chrysler and Detroit was the richest city in the whole world. I bought a house for me, my wife, and my 8 brothers and sisters back when we were 23. But millennials hear make America great again and think, remember the first 150 Pokemon? The Sega Genesis? Rock Band, growing
Also,
up
like,
without
nostalgia.
a cell phone, when you made YouTube videos just for fun, getting free malware on LimeWire, using an iPod Touch to pretend to drink beer, how people would say, too soon, after you made a 9/11 joke. Remember how badly we fucked up our teenage years, but it didn't matter because we had no social media?
So I'm a little curious, how many of you who are watching this video with me right now just got hit with a massive wave of nostalgia? Which image was it? Which one was it that it did for you? I'm curious to know in the comments.
Remember smog?
What?
As I was reading this, I got nostalgic and remembered some more things, so I redid the video so I could keep going. Remember Deltora Quest? Ordering things from the Scholastic Book Fair? The Bermuda Triangle? Remember burning a CD? Remember CD drives in the first place? Remember when DLC was just another game called an expansion pack? Remember rewinding a VHS before you returned it to Blockbuster? I remember.
Huh.
Anyway, us millennials are gonna go...
I love the transition. He's like, man, I just got really nostalgic and depressed. So anyways...
Stare at the Winamp visualizer for a while. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. Now, unlike me and most of the people I know who can't remember anything, nearly everything that you've done online is remembered forever somewhere.
He's right, you know. Everything that you do on the internet is going to be remembered forever. Even me. I'll always remember. Well, the part of me that's recording this will remember. Anyways, are you a Gen Z or millennial? What are you very nostalgic about? I heard that like some Gen Z people are starting to get more nostalgic about things now that they're getting older. and they can like have kids and stuff. So I'm like a little curious, which makes me wonder, if you're like Gen Z, what is there to be nostalgic about? Or are you sad that you don't have things to be nostalgic about? I'm just curious about it. And if you are someone who is Gen Z that's a little doom and gloom about everything, just know that you can make your life a lot better if you're willing to put in the work for it. Because I honestly think that happiness is a choice. And I also think that being miserable is a choice. And it all kind of just comes down to the perspective that you perceive things as. For example, you could be poor and be really happy, or you could be poor and be absolutely miserable. It just depends on like how you take what is given to you and like what you do with it after. I don't think there's a lost cause for Gen Z like a lot of the discussions are. I think that Gen Z has every capability of like making their life better, but they gotta be willing to put in the work for it. It just can't be handed down to them. At least that's kind of my take on it. I don't know how accurate I am about the discussion for that in particular. You can let me know in the comments down below how you all feel about it. But I think that kind of goes for everyone, not just Gen Z in general. I think like millennials and even Gen Alpha, like just in general, like if you're just not happy with your current life, you can make things better for yourself. Even if it's something simple as just saying something nice to somebody or giving them a compliment or just acknowledging that you liked something. Like, you know, acknowledging that, let's say, for example, you liked watching this video, just saying like, oh yeah, no, I liked this video. Something that's just a bit more positive to your life. For me, when I get really sad or if I start getting like doom and gloom about things, I like to spend time with my cat Hopper, and it cheers me up a lot. It's a very simple thing, but sometimes just picking him up and putting him close to my face and inhaling deeply as I smell his fur, because he's so, I love the way my cat smells. It just makes me happy. Anyways, that's enough rambling. If you want to see the uncensored versions of these videos, then check out my Patreon where I upload all uncensored content as well as some other videos on there. And let me know what your thoughts were down in the comments below. And if there's anything else you'd like to see on this channel, because I upload every single day. And with that, thank you so much for watching. And remember, everything reminds you of something. Bye!